Sound of Metal is about finding yourself, as it follows the life of drummer Reuben Stone, as he loses his hearing. He is then forced to learn to live life without the two things he loves the most, Lou, his beloved girlfriend, and music. The film has become infamous for its iconic sound design, however I am focusing on the striking cinematography and how it details the story of Reuben through the visual aspects of film. This scene is a beautiful demonstration of Reuben's current state. He sits shrouded in darkness. The only thing visible is himself and the drum kit. The scene has a surreal feeling to it, almost as if it isn't reality, possibly a glimpse into Reuben's psyche. We slowly push in on Reuben, creating a claustrophobic feeling that works in tandem with the amazing sound design to put the audience in an uneasy state. The lights flash between reds and harsh whites, leading us further into Reuben's mental state as he battles with his anger and rage. Throughout the opening scene, the only other thing with full clarity is Lou, telling the audience the importance of her to Reuben. This opening scene perfectly sets up the conflict of the film, as Reuben will soon be forced to learn to live without music. This internal battle is told masterfully through the striking lighting and sound. The subsequent scene takes a more naturalistic approach as we see the morning routine of Reuben. In this scene, the priorities previously established have been built upon. In each of the shots involving either music or Lou, the camera is handheld, giving it a more personal and private feel. This is contrasted with the shots of Reuben without music or Lou, which is set up on a tripod, giving it a static, cold feeling. This reinforces the idea that Reuben does not care for himself, suggesting that he may even hate himself, despite the fact he appears to be taking care of his body in this montage. I see this as an allusion to the fact that he may think focusing on his band and relationship will help him, but in reality, it just prohibits his growth. When Reuben arrives at the deaf community, he is caught off guard due to the extreme differences of this new environment. This is not only demonstrated through the muted colours of the scene, using large amounts of beiges and browns, which heavily contrast the larger-than-life colours Reuben would see almost every day on stage, but also the differences are told through the static camera in these scenes, lacking the fluidity of Reuben's everyday life. However, this is just in Reuben's mind, as he is unwilling to learn to live without hearing at first, so he goes out of his way to make this new life seem unappealing as he glorifies his old life. The audience is shown that this energy is present within the deaf community, but Reuben is ironically blind to it, as he sits in the darkness at the dinner table, as his roommates rapidly communicate with sign language, living in the moment despite what most people view as a severe disability. The palpable sense of energy is lost on Reuben due to his ignorance and hesitation to grow. Seeing this starts him off on his journey of self-discovery as he learns his life is still worth living even without hearing. After this scene, he is still reluctant to accept his new lifestyle, but he still makes an attempt, as he begins to learn American Sign Language. However, he is not satisfied with living the rest of his life without the ability to hear. This is illustrated through the roof, as he tries to fix it even though it's not broken. This is symbolic of the fact he is trying to fix his life even though it doesn't really need fixing. What he actually needs to do is accept that his life will be different and embrace that fact. In this shot, Reuben is positioned physically above Joe, further demonstrating the fact that he believes he is above this community and new way of life. As the film progresses, we move on to one of my favourite scenes. I view this as the major turning point in Reuben's character. He sits at eye level with the camera before he hears the faint taps of a deaf child banging on the slide. The camera booms up to frame Reuben in a high-angle shot, taking him from a man who believes he's better than this community to a man willing to change, as he learns an important lesson from this child. The trope of having a child at a high angle and an adult at a low angle is subverted as Reuben becomes a student to the boy, as he realizes that despite his lack of hearing, through vibrations he can recreate drumming, one of the things he loves the most. After this beautiful scene, we are shown a plethora of moments with Reuben within the community, embracing his new life, learning sign language, and entertaining the children. We even see another dinner scene that recaptures the energy of a typical conversation, much like the previous one, but now Reuben is further in the light, joining in as he is finally at peace with his newfound life. This soon changes, however, in this simple, seemingly unimportant shot of a window. In this shot, the roof and forest are framed by a window, creating a barrier between Ruben and his concept of life, established in this scene. This makes him feel trapped, as he is not only unable to connect with his own life, but also the environment outside of the deaf community. The allure of this fabricated concept of life is too powerful, and Ruben slips back into his old vices and dependencies as he sells his new life for a chance at regaining his old life. Before fully throwing away this new life he has created for himself, we see this scene. Here we get a sense of how close these children and Ruben have grown, as they listen to a heartfelt melody on the piano through the vibrations. The camera moves up and pushes in on Ruben as we see him grapple with his internal conflict. He looks to the community he has become a part of, before staring down, full of sorrow, as he makes up his mind. The idea of returning to Lou and his music career is too enticing. He has given into his addiction and will go through with the surgery. The music slowly fades out, subtly foreshadowing the fact that soon, Ruben will be completely unable to enjoy any form of music, due to the surgery he is so desperate for. In this scene, we see the consequences of Ruben's actions, as this magical surgery Ruben thought he was getting does not live up to his great expectations. Every sound has now become tainted. Even Lou's beautiful duet with her father is corrupted, leaving Ruben distraught. We hold on this shot where he is the only person fully in frame or in focus, making him feel alone, lacking in community. We slowly push in to emphasize his feelings of isolation and capture his mental anguish. This scene acts as a perfect parallel to the scene earlier with the piano, as now he feels completely alone after turning his back on his deaf community, leading to him completely losing the beauty of music. In the penultimate scene, he makes an effort to tell himself that there is hope for his future, as he talks about getting back into his old lifestyle with Lou. But it becomes clear they have grown in different directions during their time apart. Throughout this scene, Ruben never takes up the majority of the frame. They either always take up equal parts of the frame, or Ruben is considerably smaller. This is suggesting that Ruben needs one last push to fully become a new man, as Lou is still his priority. That final push comes now, as they tell each other that they saved one another's lives, but they both understand their time together has come to a bittersweet end. The film ends with complete silence as Ruben rejects the hearing aids, pulling them off as they are prohibiting him from enjoying the nuances of life. He has finally grown enough as a man to appreciate life without any sound, the thing he's been working towards the entire film. The final shot is a heartwarming image, seeing him find inner peace. The audience are left to hope he continues to grow and find solace within himself. I love Sound of Metal, as it's a beautiful story that follows a man who is lost, who is then forced to find himself through tragedy. I think the camera work from director Darius Marder and cinematographer Daniel Bouquet was spectacular and gets overlooked due to the amazing sound design.